was Bills GM Doug Whaley responding to questions about Sammy Watkins being injury-prone, suggesting humans shouldn't play football because of the risk of injury. We welcome Herm Edwards to the show. You played, you coached, Herm.
Yeah.
How surprised were you that he said this?
Well, I think he got a little bit caught with his foot in his mouth. I do know this. The point I'll make is real simple. It's a game of competitive violence within the framework of the rules. And I say this as a former player and as a former coach. It's a game where you test a man's will. It really is. And analytics don't show that, by the way. It's a game of mental and physical toughness over a period of 3 hours. And you got to like it. A lot of folks don't like it.
That's a fact.
A lot of people aren't meant to play football. I will make that perfectly clear as well, at all levels. It might start in Pop Warner, might start in high school. When you get to professional football, you have gone through the gauntlet of saying, you know what? I like this game. And it's a wonderful game. And I think sometimes we look at it and go, well, you know, what are these guys getting into? Players know what they're getting into. There's a certain mentality you have to play this game, okay? And it's not made for everybody. And I tell people all the time, hey, it's not meant for everybody. You'll find out right away. You'll find out right away when somebody knocks you off your spot, how you respond, okay? And we make the game all pretty because we talk about the quarterback, talk about touchdowns, talk about all that good stuff. But at the end, it's a physical game. And if you don't like it, it has a way of weeding people out. And that's okay. That's how I look at the game of football.
You know what? That was beautifully said.
Yeah.
That was very deeply true.
Well, I say this as a former player. Okay? And that's the eye test. Numbers don't tell you that. When you look a man in the eye and you knock him off his spot, you see how he responds. Numbers don't tell you that.
Analytics don't test a man's will. That was drop the mic.
That's how it works. And it'll never change.
Stephen A?
Let's all calm down. Coach is right, and Skip is absolutely right when he said that you articulated those thoughts beautifully and eloquently. You're absolutely right about the numbers, your perspective, how you view the game, etc., all on point. But the general manager, Doug Whaley, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Is he really wrong? Think about, let me get archaic here, Skip. Think about Roman times when people were out there fighting against lions and stuff like that. You had no business doing it. People did it. People was fighting with swords and spears and all. You didn't have no business doing it. People did it. Modern times, boxing. Prior to that, Skip, not prior, but after that, Skip, the UFC comes along. Do you understand that the UFC just became legalized in the state of New York? That Senator John McCain, I spoke to him personally years ago, where he considered it barbaric and was on a mission to make sure that it never gained traction in the United States of America until they, quote unquote, cleaned it up. It's one of the reasons why Dana White is so amazing as the president of the UFC, because of the way they monitor. Of course, it's a violent sport, but they do what they can to limit it because they understand how seriously hurt somebody could get, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm saying to you is that just because we do it and it's legal and it's licensed and it's a form of entertainment that we can't get enough of, doesn't mean that it's meant to do it, that we were meant to do it. Bones get broken. Limbs get shattered. Now we're discussing the issue of, chronic, what is it,
CTE,
encephalopathy, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE. We got that going on. We've got all of this stuff. Yeah, granted, we'll find a way to deal with it. We've evolved as a society technologically. We'll find a way to try to maintain our level of health, et cetera, et cetera. But let's not act like this man is off his rocker saying what I think is relatively obvious. It's just that we don't care because we love the sport. It makes a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. Have you seen Coach Herm Edwards? You know this. You see some former football players?
Oh.
You see how they walk around?
Yes, sir.
You see how some of them can't even stand up straight? Do you notice, Coach, they'll remain nameless. Do you know I've had former football players, Skip and Coach and Molly, tell me, you know why they don't want to come on First Take? Because they would have to sit down and then it's too hard for them to get up.
I know.
It's serious.
Yes.
So, is he really off saying this? Of course he's not. Of course he's not. He's speaking in jest because he understands this is a game. He's been involved in football all his life. He's a GM for the Buffalo Bills. But let's not act like what he said, he's off his rocker. He's not wrong. We just don't care because we love the game too much and we're willing to stomach all the risk that come with it. But he's not wrong for saying what he said.
I loved what he said because the painful truth spilled out of his mouth. I'm sure a lot of owners, given the climate we're in right now, with this, in my opinion, bleeding heart overreaction to the concussion syndrome that we all want to improve all of our protocols for and reduce the risk as much as possible. But you said it. These players are aware from high school on what you're getting into here. And Doug Whaley is exactly right. It's a violent game that I personally don't think humans are supposed to play. That's why I have so much respect for the game. You, to play this game, had to have less regard for your body than most humans have for their bodies because you're going to have to get it hurt. It's not if, it's when you're going to get hurt and how much you're going to get hurt and how much pain tolerance you have. Now, there's a difference between getting hurt and getting injured, obviously, but you're going to have to play with all kinds of aches and pains because it's part of the profession. I used to fly back with the Cowboys even back to the 70s on their team plane after some games. Man, it was a mash unit now. It was some walking wounded, and it only increased my love for the game and my respect because it's a hard game, man. And there's skill involved, but there's guts involved. The combination of skill and guts that you just so eloquently detailed for us is why I'm such a fan of the league. A lot of people want to say, oh my God, these poor, no, you should honor that they are choosing to risk some of their limbs for the sake of playing football at the highest level.
I would say this, Coach. First of all, let me just put myself on Front Street right here on national television. I wish I looked as good as you now. Period. That's period. But then when you take into account knowing that you played football,
yes,
I think it's a miracle watching you walk around the way that you do, work the way that you do, carrying yourself the way that you carry yourself. You don't seem to be affected at all by playing one of the most, if not the most, physical sport we have seen. I marvel at that and how healthy and fresh and vibrant you look and come across every day because I know what you've been subjected to. And I don't know how these guys do it. I completely agree with Skip Bayless, and nobody should have a problem with what Doug Whaley had to say because he's right on the money. It's right on the money.
Well, as I said, you know, he probably could have used a different word. But
PR standpoint.
There's a mentality.
And the timing.
Mm-hmm. And you guys made the point. There is a mentality. You know it at a young age. You know.
You do.
You know.
Yeah.
You know at a young age. And the more you play, you get to decide. Mm-hmm. You know, your talent alone, you got talent. But at the end, it's your will. Because it tests your will. Mm-hmm. Every time you go out on the grass and you play, and it's for real, and they keep score, your will is about to get tested.
Yep.
And by the way, guys, maybe with the concussions, you might have to worry less. But with the league encouraging you to go low even more so they can avoid potential concussion injuries and thereby lawsuits that could potentially follow, they're basically, you know, I'm not going to lie, Skip, I don't want to use such a derogatory term as selling them down the river, but you clearly don't care if guys end up crippled because you're encouraging guys to go lower
Yep.
and lower and lower. Before long, guys ain't going to be able to walk at all.
Yeah. One thing about Coach, you were one of the luckier ones, all things considered.
Yes, you were.
Right?
I
Yes,
got
you
through
were.
it.
You got
never
through
missed
it.
a game,
Yep.
never missed a practice.
Way to go.
Never missed a show now either. Herm, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perspective only you can give.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, baby.
Russell Westbrook has the champs on the brink of elimination, but has he proven that he is better than Steph Curry? We shall discuss.